everybody, as you're coming in, please be reminded that we are going to need some blank paper and something to draw with today, pretty soon in the beginning. So please, if you've forgotten those things or didn't get the notes, go and get them. Colorful things to draw with are nice.
There are two Brazilians that said that are going to be around 10 minutes late.
Say that, Renata?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh. We're going to start in about 1 minute. Okay, Reese, we're ready to start. Okay, welcome everybody today. I'd like to introduce two people who are helping us today. One is Renata. She is going to be with us. I think a lot of you know her, and help with the translation a bit. If once you get into the caption translation, if it's not working, if she sees it's not working well, she's going to kind of interrupt us and give a little live translation to make it a little easier, we hope. Also, we're going to try to talk a little slower. I'd also like to introduce Didi Anandatapamaya. She is going to be a reader again and assist in this class, in the morning class. And Renata is also going to be a reader and help with those that are responding in their journal writings in Portuguese. So she will be helping with our class with that too. So we're going to start today's class by just taking a moment and revisiting our container from last week and just seeing if it's, just remind us of it. This is our container for a class. And if anyone's new today that hasn't been able to add to it, or if there's something new you want to add, we're going to give a little chance to do that. So in the chat, Reese has, I believe, put in the chat the link, and I'm going to share and just invite us to just take a look at it. It's quite lovely, actually. And maybe I'll also invite Renata to add, since she hasn't been in this class yet. So you just click on the link in the chat and come in, and you can grab one of the sticky notes. There isn't too many left, but that's good. And let's all take a look at it. I did try to at least partially translate all of them too. So let's just take a moment and look. I noticed when I was looking at it that there was, we had intuition a few times, and love and joy and acceptance. Connection, calmness, united movement like a symphony, united effort, united movement like a symphony. And I didn't know you could do that, but we have a bunch of people who gave little likes and smiley faces to some of the stickers, which I thought was very nice. Liked it quite a bit.
To see the who. Is that Renata's?
I haven't written a stick. I'm just contemplating the whole container.
If there's something else that you would like to write in the chat about what you're noticing, or you can just quietly just look. I'm going to be quiet so we can look for a second. Yes. Okay, we're going to move on. But I wanted to give us a chance to just take that in again. And Renata, we'll give you a chance to put it in and we'll see it as a surprise next week.
I have to be honest, I was having problems with my subtitles. Was working on that because not showing up on the screen. Try to get into the mirror now.
Oh, okay. Well, we can.
Yeah, it's
we'll,
taking too long.
okay.
Yeah, it's taking too long.
If you have an idea in the chat, put it in the chat and we'll put it in for you. Or after class, I'll put it in. So
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
All right. So we can start our PowerPoint now. Really see. And I'm going to just do one more reminder for people to get some blank paper and some thing to draw with. And it can be, I've got mine too. I'm going to go grab mine too before I start. Because we're all going to do it together. Okay. If you don't have anything in color and you're just doing it in a pencil or pen, that's okay too. Okay, so
today we're going to focus principally on the asanas as part of the biopsychology of the chakra hormones and asanas for personal balance.
Okay, we can go through these two. We've done that already, yes. Okay. So we're going to be using all ways of knowing in this class. That's why we try to have so much experiential and verbal talking and learning. So this is one way of looking at this, ways of knowing, because as a teacher, we're just not thinking, we're also feeling and sensing and intuiting. And so we're going to be practicing that because if you think about it, if you're thinking about it, you might be in a classroom and say, whether it's children or adults, and you just have a feeling that Maybe there's tension in the class. Maybe you're seeing it, but you're also have a feeling that maybe something wonderful is happening. There's a connection that's happening. Or when you're looking at the container, you might get a certain feeling of it, or you have a sense of what people are by the colors they've picked or the words that they've used. Sensing, feeling it and sensing also have to do with being in touch with what's happening in your body. I think we've all had the experience that we're somewhere and our body tells us either something's not right and we don't know what it is and we kind of look around and think about it, or something amazing is happening. Maybe you meet someone, you have this natural connection with them that doesn't make any kind of logical sense or thinking sense, but there's a different kind of knowing. And a lot of times in the work that I do, I'm sort of, listening to my body and noticing it. So you'll hear me say a lot about what did you notice or what's your sense or feeling. Also intuiting comes into this. I think we've all could have all have had experiences where we know something, but it's not something we read. Or, it could be just a knowing that comes from intuition. A lot of creativity comes from this. So we're going to be giving some opportunities for that kind of knowing and talk about also not just only in this class, because this comes from the inside of us and how we develop the inside of us. I'm just right this moment thinking about in the create the container, someone said, I need calm. That calm place, when you get into that and you get in touch with that, a different kind of knowing sometimes comes out of that. So we're just going to include all those ways of knowing. Next slide. So this is an exercise called the heart exercise that I learned in my systemic constellation training, and I adapted it for use in school. And this is an example of, I went to Taiwan in 2019 and worked with a group of teachers doing the exercise we're going to do now. And this was sort of their, and then we put them up, we did a 3-day workshop and we put them all over the walls of the building, of the room we were in. It was quite beautiful to see what they all came up with and shared. So next slide. Nope, go back. Yep, there we go. Okay, we're going to do a little guided imagery. I also have it written down in English and Portuguese. So if you can close your eyes, or you can also just pick a place, look at this and let your imagination go as you're listening or seeing it. So I would invite everybody, I'm going to do it too, to sit with your feet on the ground and your hands in your lap. And let's breathe in and out 3 times slowly. So either close your eyes or look ahead and put your hands on your heart and continue to breathe. Start by breathing and just become aware of your heart. Now breathe with your heart. Now feel your heart. Next slide. And while you're feeling your heart and breathing with your heart, think of someone who's been a connection with that heart feeling, that feeling of love. Breathe in and out. Imagine you're looking at them and they're looking at you. What would they say to you? Because they love you. What would you sense? How would you feel? So, keeping that feeling or maybe that conversation, take your paper, your blank paper, and you can draw a heart on it. And just draw what I call from the inside out. Use that feeling that came from your heart and connection. And what do you just draw? Could be words, could be images, and move that positive feeling into a classroom. And what would you see there? What would you draw there? Now, the important part of this exercise is to just let it flow. To just start by drawing, and maybe it goes to something in the classroom, maybe it doesn't. And don't worry about the artisticness of it, because I'm going to do it too. And you can see that I have very little teeny artistic skills. So, and we're just going to do that for a few minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes. And then we're going to go into a breakout group. And, if you need to take a few minutes to finish there, you can. And then share what you're comfortable with sharing about. Share your pictures with each other and sort of what came up for you during this. So just first take a few minutes to just draw. And I will cue Reese into when to put us into the breakout rooms. So just, you have to go get your blank piece of paper and something to draw with, you can go do that now too. Okay, let's move us into our breakout rooms now. And if we need to draw for a few more minutes, that's okay too. So we should be moving into our breakout rooms.
Rishi? Rishi?
Yes.
Stefania and Erica didn't get a chance, didn't have enough time to say something in the group.
Also, in our group, room number 5, one person didn't have time. There was connection issues also.
Well, maybe what we can do, Renata, is why don't we have both of, because we're going to do like a little bit of a whole group share out. So maybe they can do it with the whole group and you can translate for them. So,
Okay.
okay, so why don't you ask one of them and just show their picture. And we all, here, I'll show my picture so no one will feel shy about showing their picture. This is my picture. So no one after that can feel shy about showing their picture. So just ask the person you would like to share.
Okay, there were 2 of them, okay? So should I ask each one?
Yeah, who's the first one?
Ok. Stefânia, você gostaria de compartilhar?
Oi, eu cheguei na hora que fechou o grupo. Então, eu, na verdade, não fiz o exercício, eu não cheguei a fazer o coração. Eu trazei um pouco para a aula, né? Então, eu realmente estava só como ouvinte agora.
Tá. E a Érica gostaria de compartilhar, então?
Hello. I didn't make the heart, but I was listening the whole group, and I think the only thing that I would like to add is when we say that we had to be confident. I think that is not only confident with us, that we are confident to do our job, but we have to conquer this confident position with the children too. They have to feel comfortable with us. I think that this is the idea that I would like to share a little bit more or to add in the group. But I arrived a little bit late too, so I didn't make the heart, but I was following the feelings here. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to be doing this every week. We need to bring paper and color because for the next few weeks, we're going to be doing it once a week. So you'll get a chance.
Okay.
But I love this point that, we think actually the children need to be confident and doing it. They'll love to draw, and most will have, that's a really good thing of sensing, of trying to figure out which children might be really shy about sharing and and build up to a point of them being able to do it. Maybe they just share with a friend to begin with, and that's why we did in small groups and then to a bigger group. But I think that's a good point to feel out and sense how comfortable your students are with sharing with each other and confident. Thanks for the point. And Renata, did you want to say something about the other person who talked? I don't know.
Yeah, Stefania, as Erica, they got in a little bit late. So Stefania, as she said, she was just listening. She didn't actually get to do the exercise.
Okay. Well, we're going to have another chance in 2 weeks. So you'll get another chance.
Good, thank you.
I'm going to do an exercise, which we're not going to be drawing for that. We'll just be talking a bit about it, but it can be something that's you draw, and I'll talk about how that works. So, okay. Anybody else that would like, there was someone else from another group. Didi, you said.
Yes, it was Patrick, but now I don't see him. He had connection issues, so I don't see him here now.
Yeah, they come in and if he's from the Nigerians, they come in and out.
Yeah.
Because they have problems.
Fortunately, yeah.
There's a few people that I'm looking and I don't think, I only see one. I don't see that some of them here, so they might come in and out later. Okay. Well, I'm going to, I was only supposed to take a half hour and I took 40 minutes. So I'm going to let it pass on to Sid. I think you're muted, Sid.
Today we're going to focus principally on the asanas as part of biopsychology, which focuses on the chakra hormones and the asanas applied to the chakras for personal balance. And we have a lot of slides, so we're going to move pretty quickly. There are several branches of psychology that P.R. Sarkar outlines, and one is general psychology, which deals with social psychology and developmental psychology. And today we'll focus on biopsychology, which is the chakras and asanas and hormones. And parapsychology deals with past lives. And apex or pinnacle psychology deals with the mind being focused principally on the supreme consciousness. Next slide. So biopsychology was developed by P.R. Sarkar, and it's about revitalizing an ancient understanding of how the chakras are related to our mental and emotional states. This was detailed by Ashtabakra 2,000 years ago. It was called Raja Yoga. That was king of king yogas, king of king yoga. Next slide. So biopsychology is an understanding of the connection between the mind, body, and spirit. Next slide.
Could you slow down just a little bit? Because,
yeah.
And Reese, could you press, for some reason, these slides, wait till they, so people can read. Go ahead.
So the chakras are defined by these nadis or rivers of energy that flow throughout the body, but you can see the central chakras, the 7 classical chakras, are the nadis where they cross are the chakras. Next slide. Each of the chakras have a number of propensities associated with them, but the ones that are demonstrated here are hope in the heart chakra, and fear in the stomach chakra, and altruism in the throat chakra. These propensities or tendencies of the mind, there are 50 propensities, but they can be expressed internally or externally, or they can be expressed by motor organs or sensory organs, the 5 motor organs and the 5 sensory organs. So that gives 10 possible expressions. It gives 1,000 different expressions, but there are 50 basic propensities. And this is the Sahasrara chakra that reflects all 1,000 chakras, 1,000 propensities rather. Next slide. So this is a synthetic system. It means it's that never separates one element from another. Everything is interactive in one system. And the biopsychology includes asanas, meditation, diet, ethics, and service. All of these are part of the practices, of the spiritual practices that support the tuning of the chakras. And it's all in order to harmonize the symphony of the body-mind. Next slide. The evidence for this, the presence of chakras is Hiroshi Matayama showed that there were, in 100 subjects, that there was an increase of electrical activity in the areas of the chakras when mentally concentrating on the chakras. Next slide. Valerie Hunt took it a little further and said that there were 250 cycles per second of electromagnetic frequencies when people were focusing on the physical world. and 400 to 800 cycles per second for spiritual practitioners focus on the higher chakras. And then 900 cycles per second were referred to a mystical personality, a person who has advanced practice. So these are the glands that are associated with each of the 7 classical chakras. But it's important to recognize that if there are 50 propensities, this only deals with a few propensities, and that science has discovered that the glands, the subglands are throughout the body. There are tissues throughout the body, not just the classical glands, that account for the 50 propensities. Next slide. And this was classically defined by Candace Pert, an author of Molecules of Emotions, who showed that neuropeptides are distributed throughout the body. The neurohormonal system is throughout the body, and she coined the term body-mind.
Let's slow down again. Yeah.
Okay. So again, this is the classical glands and the 50 propensities associated with each. Next slide. So for successful adaptation, a person learns to relax and focus their subtle energy on the higher chakras, the higher mind, whereas a failure to adapt results in sickness or stress, and that's focused on the cruder lower mind, the lower propensities, the lower chakras. Next slide. So this is the inside-outside slide that shows that asanas have a direct effect on the glands and indirectly on the nerves, whereas meditation has a direct effect on the nerves and indirectly on the glands. And the hypothalamus is the area where the electrical impulse and the hormones are exchanged or come together, and that results in different moods and different behaviors. So this is an inside-outside slide. Next slide. So how can biopsychology help? It can strengthen the balance of the chakras. The mind will become more balanced as well as you balance the chakras. And it's important to remember that the spiritual practices include meditation, asanas, a plant diet, yoga therapy, counseling, group support. All these are part of a holistic approach. And the yoga postures can contribute. Some are very specific for particular glands, whereas others balance the glands of several chakras at once, at the same time. So what's special about the asanas? The postures are held in order to put sustained pressure on specific glands. The breath is held for 4 to 8 seconds. When you create pressure, you hold the breath, and when you release the pressure, you breathe breathe out. So postures are followed by self-massage to help assimilate the glandular activity. And the most important thing about asanas is that not all asanas are beneficial for every individual. Mm-hmm. Postures are selected for each individual to deal with specific qualities or propensities that each person needs to balance. So asanas are highly individualized. So to acquaint us with some of the qualities related to our emotional balance that are related to the qualities of self-criticism, we'll perform the following exercise. Next slide. So in this exercise, we want to deal with the self-critic that all of us have. The task is to balance your emotions and better serve yourself in a more benevolent and kinder manner. Next slide. So close your eyes now and visualize a time when you're being very critical of yourself. Recall a specific instance or scene related to being critical of yourself. Be aware of criticizing yourself in this particular scene. And be aware of the body's reactions and the emotions associated with this criticism of yourself. Now visualize yourself countering this self-criticism first by being kind and more forgiving of what you are saying to yourself. Counteract the self-criticism by being kinder and more forgiving with what you are saying to yourself. Be aware of your body's response and the emotions associated with being kinder and forgiving towards yourself and others. All right, so in the next few slides, I want you to be aware of the chakras that are related to being critical of yourself and then being kind and more forgiving of yourself. As we go through these slides, note which ones are related to self-criticism and which ones are related to being kinder to yourself. All right, next slide. So this is the first chakra, the root chakra, and it's square in shape and gold in color. And it has 4 different longings associated with it: psychospiritual longing, psychic longing, physical longing, and spiritual longing. So the propensities are dharma, artha, karma, and moksha. Next slide.
Sid, could you please go back on the previous slide? Because it went by fast and the translation wasn't quite proper.
So there are 4 different types of longing associated with this first root chakra. There's a psychospiritual longing, psychic longing, physical longing, and spiritual longing. It's square in shape and gold in color.
Thank you.
The second chakra, the meaning of it is in one's own abode, in one's own abode. It's a liquid factor or fluid plexus. It's milky white in color. There's a crescent moon you see in the chakra. A crescent moon is liquid, milky white. It's about 10 centimeters above the Muladhara chakra, directly behind the sexual glands. 10 centimeters above the root chakra. Next slide. The propensities associated with this, you can see that the belittlement of others, a lack of common sense of indulgence, and a lack of confidence is related to self-criticism. That's what we were looking for in these slides. Lack of confidence is related to self-criticism, thoughts of sure annihilation or defeatism, and cruelty. Next slide. The third chakra, the stomach chakra, is triangular in shape and red in color. It's the luminous factor in the navel area, and it's related to the adrenaline glands. This has to do with stimulation and gives us the amount of energy required for different activities. Next slide. So the propensities associated with the third chakra are shyness and shame, which are related to self-criticism that we were looking for, and sadistic tendencies, envy, staticity and sleepiness, melancholia, peevishness, yearning for acquisition, infatuation, hatred and revulsion, and fear. You see, these are all mostly negative propensities in the lower chakras, in the first, second, and third chakras of negative propensities. Next slide. And the fourth chakra, the meaning is unhit. That is, it's not easy to damage. It's unhit. And this is the beginning of the very positive propensities. But it's smoky gray and gray-green in color and located in the center of the chest and related to the thymus gland, which is about the immune system, which regulates the immune system. Notice that about half of these propensities are very positive, and it has to do with self-approval. So when you were doing your imagery, you were drawing on the heart chakras, hope, and making an effort. Love and attachment, discrimination and conscience, ego and repentance. Whereas about half of the propensities are more negative, having to do with worry and anxiety, vanity and arrogance, mental numbness due to fear, greed, hypocrisy, argumentativeness. So you see there's a balance here in the fourth chakra of positive and negative qualities. Next slide.
And so we had a question about if this information would be available, and yes, it will be available in the Google Classroom for you to reference later as well.
Yeah, we're going through it rather quickly. There's a lot of material. And the fifth chakra is referred to as the pure wheel. It's the ethereal factor. And it's multicolored. Often it's referred to as a rainbow-colored chakra. And it's related to the thyroid gland, which deals with nervousness and sleep issues. And the propensities are the first 7 are animal sounds. There are 16 propensities. The sound of creation, Om, the sound of Kundalini. Practication is dealing with self-approval, that is, being able to do something practical, being able to accomplish something practical. Mundane knowledge. Altruism, universal welfare, surrender to the supreme. Repulsive expression. There's only one of those that is negative. Of the 16, only one is negative sounding. Repulsive expression. And Amrita, sweet expression. Next slide. So the third chakra has 2 propensities. It's beyond all colors, and it's associated with the pituitary gland. The propensities of mundane knowledge and spiritual knowledge. The third eye. Next slide. And finally, the 7th chakra has all 1,000 expressions of the propensities. And it stands for surrender and love. It's located in the pineal gland. The pineal gland is 10 fingers above the third eye. And it's related to the pituitary gland. The pineal gland, rather. Now, yoga therapy is the application of yoga postures to balance the individual mental and emotional propensities. But there are other practices, other spiritual practices related to a plant-based diet, meditation, universal ethics, and service. But we're going to focus principally on asanas today. So let's go to the next slide.
Rishi said, I'll just make a small comment on the translation on the subtitles because it didn't come out properly, okay?
Okay.
Para vocês que estão lendo o slide, né, ele falou que nós vamos concentrar nas posturas de yoga, tá? Mas a tradução veio errada, tá? E então procurem concentrar mais na apresentação, porque quando ele disse asanas, veio como arsenals, alguma coisa no sentido de, aí a tradução veio como incendiários, tá? E não como posturas ou asanas de yoga, ok? Okay.
So today we focus principally on the asanas to achieve balance in the qualities or the propensities which we're trying to improve. Let's consider which asanas are. Go back to that slide. Let's consider which asanas are going to help with self-criticism and self-approving, of being kinder towards yourself. All right, let's go to those asanas now. So asana, the word asana means posture with ease. And this prayer posture balances the three lower chakras. And all the organs of the body balances in these lower three chakras. So this would deal with lack of confidence and being critical of oneself. And this also, the cow's head, which opens the chest and the shoulders, is used for men, is often prescribed for men for seminal loss, seminal fluid loss. But it's also good for lack of confidence, reversing lack of confidence. Next slide. So the spinal twist is good for all the chakras. This will balance propensities in all the chakras. And the hand to foot, arm and leg posture balances the third, fourth, and fifth chakras. So this deals with the heart and the fifth chakra for practication, for doing practical things. And then this one stimulates the pineal gland, the crown chakra. This places pressure on that pineal gland. It's called the hair posture as well. And that distributes melatonin throughout the body. So you don't need to go to a health food store to buy melatonin. You can stimulate melatonin and it cascades throughout the body. Next slide. So as we've said before, we need to personalize the asanas. So we're going to draw on peer support to select the asanas that are beneficial for each of us. So in your group, in your breakout group, you'll turn to people who are more experienced with asanas to advise you. But let's first look at the difference between our individual and pranadharma. Internal discipline in the psychic sphere of individual life is what we call pranadharma of individual life. When the national characteristics are expressed in a particular vein, we may call it the pranadharma of the nation. In other words, this happens in a few generations. This is the pranadharma of a particular country. Like in India, the pranadharma of Indians is spirituality, whereas the pranadharma of Americans is individualism. Individualism. So the universal yoga values support spiritual practices, social equality, ethics, and an educational system that will help in establishing the pranadharma. So educational system is the way of transmitting that cultural pranadharma. Next slide. So it's important to differentiate between the individual and cultural pranadharma. The individual pranadharma is the internal discipline collection of the inherited, acquired, and socially imposed characteristics of each individual. So it's much broader. This is the pranadharma of the individual. Go back to that slide.
Can you go back to the individual one? Can
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Whole. Individual pranadharma is the internal discipline collection of the inherited, acquired, and socially imposed characteristics of each individual. Now let's contrast that with the cultural pranadharma. Next slide. The cultural pranadharma is a disciplined collection of cultural characteristics that have been inherited due to qualities that have been shared over generations by a region or a nation. So this is the difference between the individual pranadharma and the cultural pranadharma. Next slide.
Before we do this, can we give an example of like the difference between something individual or cultural?
All right. So the cultural would, as I had said, would like if you're from India, the cultural pranadharma is spirituality, is generally taught throughout all educational systems. Spirituality is very much a part of the educational system and the pranadharma of India. Whereas in America, Americans are much more individualistic. And that's supported in our educational institutions. Whereas when we deal with the individual pranadharma that's inherited and culturally influenced and acquired, that's much more individualistic. Like someone is self-critical, has a propensity to self-critical, or someone is more sadistic, or those would be individual characteristics, individual characteristics.
For example, because we have a little time, for example, I might say like individually, like in my family, we're, very generous, right? And we might be very generous with we love to cook and feed all our friends. And so my individual pranadharma might be that I love to cook for people. In a cultural pranadharma might be that, for example, that that might be the same or different from a cultural pranadharma. Maybe in my culture, people aren't so generous, people stay more to themselves. So sometimes I think, is this true, that sometimes our individual pranadharma can be similar to the cultural, but sometimes it might be different. Is that true?
Or if we're talking about someone from New York, they're more direct, whereas in the South, they're more polite.
Right.
Those would be indications of individual pranadharma.
Okay.
Politeness or directness. All right. So now we're going to go into breakout groups and share what you're comfortable sharing about your individual and cultural pranadharma as it relates to individual. Hold on. Wait, go back to the slide. As it relates to the individual and cultural qualities of your personality. So you were going to share both the individual and the cultural pranadharma as it relates to the individual and cultural qualities of your personality. So share both. And we're going to breakout groups for 15 minutes. So go ahead and assign them to breakout groups for round one.
Are there any questions before the breakout rooms open? All right, we'll be opening up the breakout rooms now for 15 minutes. All right, welcome back, everyone.
Let's have some collective sharing. We had a lot of fun in our breakout group. I hope you had some fun in revealing each other's pranadharma, individual and cultural. So let's have some little larger group sharing. Who would like to share some of what happened in their group?
Meninas, alguém gostaria de compartilhar? E aí eu traduzo? Não? Bom, então eu vou continuar então, tá? So I'll go on. I asked if anyone from my group would like to share, and then I would translate, as nobody said. So I'll just go ahead and say that, yes, it was very important, I think, this opportunity that we had, because Brazil is a very diverse country. Culturally, there are many different backgrounds, like the people from different Black origins and the native indigenous different ethnicities from different regions of the countries. And then the immigrants, like the Japanese, the Italian. So Brazil is a really big melting pot with big differences from one region to the other. And we all agreed that depending on where we are, then we develop and we have to face different situations. And also individually, what everybody shared interestingly was that how important it is to have the opportunity of practicing the asanas, but also to get to know and deepen into the Neohumanist philosophy, how this helps people on their journeys and as well on facing the challenges that are posed on day-to-day, especially here in the country, as the country is facing many challenges nowadays. So how this class helped and how asanas and neo-humanist philosophy has been important. So this is it.
All right. Someone else like to share?
Yes, I would like to. In our group, we finished when the last participant was describing the situation in Nigeria, and he told that if a person, a man is preferable to get the education, and a woman, if she is in a family, so it's not important. And we had not much time. I was thinking maybe we can listen more about this, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what it was. I didn't know about this, so it was interesting.
So it revealed a secret in your culture that men were given more chance for education than women.
Yeah. It's nowadays like this, but the situation is starting to change.
The pranadharma would be women are not educated and men are educated.
But in our group there was Ruth, and she is the opposite example.
Okay. Someone else who was opposite, that women were more educated than men.
Well, she was.
No, it's not that women are more educated. It's that in our culture in general, men are given more importance and reverence and more opportunities and many other things like that. So we live in a very patriarchal, misogynistic culture in general in Nigeria.
Yes, so
you're looking at the peculiarities of Eastern Nigeria and how that's still ongoing, but there's some shift where people are seeing the importance of education in general, and he was going to expound on that. I personally didn't grow up in Eastern Nigeria, although I'm from there, but I didn't grow up and I didn't even go there until, I'll say, last year. And what he's saying is absolutely true. I mean, even inheritance, up until recently, women were not allowed to inherit anything. So yeah.
Very important recognition. And you came from outside the culture and you could see it more sharply.
I mean, even in the other places I grew up, it's still there. In northern Nigeria, it's terrible. I don't know. It's everywhere in Nigeria, to be fair.
Yeah.
I grew up in the southern part, but it's slightly different because certain areas, their cultures are a little bit different with what the freedoms they give people. But the deferring to men is a Nigerian culture, and that's, I don't even think it will change fully in our lifetime or in the lifetime of our children, actually. There's some changes, but yeah. Only recently, last year, were women allowed to apply for passports without permission from their fathers and or husbands, and adult women. So that was something before for last year, 2024. So again, the changes they're minute, the culture is really terrible, but there's some changes happening. So yeah, maybe he can finish on his personal one as well.
Yeah, this is a very vibrant discussion. I want to extend it. Very important discussion. Who else would like to share? Didi and Nanda Tapamaya.
Just replying or reflecting. Okay. Who was that?
Okay, I'm Francis from Nigeria.
Go
also.
ahead, Francis.
Okay, I had difficulty while I was in a group. I had difficulty trying to with the network. I'm sharing from what my sister Ruth and Obonna said earlier about access to education for men and women. I want to say it's a bit, it differs depending on the states, even in the southeastern part of Nigeria. Like in Anambra State, where we have most people who want their child to, they don't value education as much as the women do. Mostly what we have in the Anambra State part of the region is that we have a greater number of girl child in school than the male child. The male child are sent out to go and learn trades where they stay for different number of years, depending on the agreement with who is supposed to be their mentor. And then at the end of the years, in assisted to start their own businesses. Some are successful, while some at the end of the years they spend labeled and thrown out. So in that area, we have more people who are not really like male child, who are not really interested in education. And even the families will tell you, we have professors, we have doctors, we have different people, and yet the business people are the one who dominate everywhere in the society, and they have much more money than the people who are educated per se. So it's not like, but today things are really changing from what they said. Actually, it's beginning to change, and the awareness is beginning to come that if you at least you are finished secondary school course, then you can actually decide academics. You can you are free then to go. If it's business you decide to go, then you are free to go too. So that is it. Thank you.
So it can vary quite a lot from region to region in Nigeria. It varies a lot from region to region. One more person, we have to move on, but this discussion we need to come back to. But is there one more, Didi Nanda Tapamaya, what were you going to say?
Oh, just quickly that here in Lebanon, where I am now visiting, they tell me that if a woman, a wife has booked a ticket to fly abroad, the husband can call in and cancel it. So I was shocked to hear that, and that's also what they say. This is just one slice of how patriarchal this whole place is. Also, in many ways, just a comment on what Ruth was telling.
And there was a comment.
This is a lively discussion that bears giving more time to. We'll come back to it, but we need to move on and deal with the asanas, application of asanas. So is there one more person that is burning to share?
There was a comment
in the thread. May I share a super quick thing?
Yeah.
I just want to reflect on what Didi said, just to not take that big impression, since I came from Syria, which is like close to Lebanon, and we had shared the same culture. Yes, what she said is correct, and that's the norm. But I would just balance it out with saying that men also there take a lot of burden out of women's shoulders. Like they are the one who provide, like offer all the finance, everything, and they overprotect women there. So they take a lot of privilege in one hand, right? But also they also back it up with a lot of care. Thank you.
Okay, that's a nice balanced comment to end our discussion. So we need to move on, I think, and we're going to have a lot. Round two, round two is to discuss with members of your group who experience with asanas, which asanas can help you maintain a balance with your propensities or your qualities that you have that you've identified in the first round of this breakout group. In other words, the first round indicated the cultural and individual pranadharma. So what asanas are needed to work on these? And we're going to break out into, perhaps it'll be easier to keep the same groups, Reese.
Okay.
And let's continue this discussion about the asanas that each individual needs to use to deal with their pranadharma, individual and cultural pranadharma.
All right, are there any questions before we open up the breakout rooms? And this will be for 15 minutes.
It might be nice to have, if we have, an availability of like Didi Nanda Tapamaya is an acharya, Vishwamitra is an acharya, Guru Mantrananda. Be nice to sprinkle the acharyas around in the groups too, if it's possible, because they'll have more knowledge. Maybe not. Other
to
people.
To be sprinkled. That's lovely. I've never been sprinkled.
Anyways.
All right.
Okay. I think we're back now as a whole group. We should meet. Sid, are you there? Okay. Okay, you're muted though. I
was just writing something in the chat that was requested by my group.
Okay, great.
Did you get it, Didi?
Got it, thank you.
Yeah, okay. We had a very lively discussion. People are very open about sharing their pranadharma and the asanas that they needed. So it seemed very productive. How was it in other groups?
Well, in our group, it was very productive as well. We started talking about like a cultural pranadharma, the need that Brazilians have to speak up, to overcome this colonization feeling that still runs around in the country, that still exists, and that still influences us. So we needed to overcome this and value our own culture. And so everyone talked about different postures that work on this lower chakras. And there were many postures and that were talked about all of the participants contributed somehow. And we mentioned the Kaushki itself and the child posture. And we also talked about the Matsamudra, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a whole sequence of and a variation of postures that can be adopted to balance this lower chakras and to enhance the strength to overcome this, let's put it this way, this colonization feeling that need to be overcome through self-esteem and positivity and this kind of behavior.
What chakras were principally recommended for overcoming this colonialization feeling?
Well, we talked a lot about these postures that work on the lower chakras that tend and that need to be balanced. And please, Erika and everyone else, correct me if I'm not mistaken. So we talked about these postures, the Kaushki itself, the Matsamudra, the child posture, the one that is called the fish posture, so that these lower chakras can be balanced and that the energy can be aligned and all the chakras can come into balance. Especially that's why we talked about the Kaushki as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be very powerful.
Yeah.
Other people like to share? Recommended in our group was kirtan.
Yeah.
And Kaushiki, of course. What were the other recommendations in your group for different propensities?
Well, we had an acharya who knew quite a bit about asanas, and it was very helpful, and he gave some demonstrations and stuff. So I thought, it was quite informative for me because that's my area of weakness. So, and other people too. So we talked a lot about we got in a discussion about self-criticism, that some self-reflection and some looking at ourselves and trying to improve is good. But we also had some discussions about how, if we bully ourselves, that might not be so good. That we can be honest. Ruth was great with that. We can be honest, but we really should also use some satya with our own selves about it. And that there was some asanas that were also talked about. We have only like 2 minutes left in the class, though. I just wanted to let you know.
So do we need to leave time to talk about assignments?
I think we do. Yeah, I think we in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing I experience sometimes when I'm very harsh on myself, maybe I don't do everything completely for discipline and I feel very bad and I become a very negative towards myself. And then always Baba makes a present to me. Something happened that I feel his grace and I feel he's giving me a present, And then I think, wow, you see, it's like the love of the universe is truly so infinite. Sometimes we are miserable with ourselves, but the love of the universe is infinite, truly infinite.
And that's a nice thought to end this discussion. Yeah. Thank you, Didi. I just want to I want to say something about the reflective journals. The first pre-class assignment, I don't think was quite clear enough, and some people thought the general instructions for the pre-class assignment was actually the assignment. So the first pre-class assignment was about reflecting about your own early childhood education experience and your first experience as a teacher. And then there was the assignment that was due today, which is reflecting about the propensities, readings, and also about what things you want to work on. So you should have handed in 2 assignments already. Some people handed in one or the other. So they're not long and they will be responded to. And then there will be a third, some more reading, short readings, and a third reflected journal assignment that will be due next week. And then there will be just be 4 altogether with the course. So I know you're also taking another course, so I would hope and recommend that you try to keep a little up with it, because if you hand it in on time, then we'll take a lot of care with responding to you. But if you hand it in late, we're going to get backed up and not be as much care in that. So
Okay.
it'll be shorter. So it's really,
Oh.
Yes, go ahead.
Are we still in time to hand over today, the one that is due today?
Absolutely. I will look at the ones due today for a few days. Everything that was handed in and our readers, we have Renata, Didi Nanda Tapamaya, Sid Vishwamitra, and myself. From the first week, we've responded to all that. But the ones that were due today will start responding from now on in the next few days, like that. Okay? And yeah. I think that's all I need to say. If you have any questions or issues, just please contact us. You can, make a comment or make an email or on WhatsApp. You can, and we're happy to even hop on the phone and talk to you if you have questions. So on WhatsApp, a WhatsApp call. So. And we will also, Vishwamitra and I will also be reading, and we may make some scattered comments on all of them. So, yeah. Those that had Didi, last thing I'm going to say, because we have to go, is the last group of people that Didi Ananda Tapamaya read for, last time we assigned a different, she does not have them this time. She has a different group, because we want everyone to have experience of getting feedback from many different people. Okay. So we'll see everyone next.
Thank you for your participation today. It was an exciting participatory group. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Okay. Bye.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you so much. Didi Tapamaya got internet. Thank you. I'm hoping that having you here has helped supported those that are, it was better with, did you get any feedback in the groups from that? About it being a better experience in terms of translations and stuff, the way we did it today?
Not yet.
All right.
Bye.
There, Reese. There we go. Yeah.